Well, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, you're coming in through my hair pods.
Your hair pods? Okay.
My hairy AirPods. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. I'm honored that you'd break out your hairy AirPods for an event such as this.
Yeah, my
God.
my airy pods.
Uh, hello, everybody, and welcome to Character Gallery. I'm Master of the Lemons, aka Lemmy.
And I'm here the Japanese train, aka Matt, and just hold on a sec while I just dust off the podcast a little bit. All right. Dust everywhere.
Wow. Okay, that was a thicker layer than I was prepared for. That's kind of like Duke in the Shed levels of dust.
Unlike
Damn.
Lemmy, my cough was actually for real because for Christmas this year, Santa gave me an upper respiratory virus. So I'm a little sick, but we're going to make it work.
Santa gives us coal, we get excited about that. So he's got to give us something a little worse. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why Santa's punishing us.
We're on the naughty list. It just goes without saying.
Yeah, no, because of all of our crimes.
We're on the naughty list because of the character we chose today.
So this is one of the most bizarre items that Wooden Railway ever released. It was basically the jet engine, like the powered one that pushed Thomas around, but weirder. And it always
But non-canon.
yeah, but non-canon. It never appears in the show or anything. It never appears in like magazines, or it's definitely not in the Railway series.
Mattel had complete liberty to just, you know how they made like Culdy and D199 and Lady, they just remade them. They totally could have just been like, oh yeah, let's just remake the Thomas and the jet engine Wooden Railway pack. But they were like, you know what? No, let's do the booster steam car. What does he do? I don't know. Boosts. You know, gives you a little boost when you need a boost.
I like the idea that Croven's Gate is like constantly pushing the boundaries of what they can do. You know, like they've got really talented engineers there that are always trying new things and really trying to kind of push the envelope. And I don't know, maybe they designed this. So why?
Yeah,
Like
so
what was the purpose of this vehicle?
I hate this guy because this is one of the few character galleries I sat down and did prep for.
Okay, well tell me for the love of God what your prep is.
All right, so there's a couple of angles we can take this, but here's the one that I actually wrote down. I unironically took time out of my day to be like, what is the lore of the booster steam car?
Okay, all right.
So this happened when I was watching the critically acclaimed film Christmas with the Cranks. So
Okay, awesome.
this is a Christmas episode now. All right, ho ho ho.
Okay, I feel it. I still
So
got
I was
the
watching
lights.
Christmas with the Cranks, and have you seen it?
No, so this is gonna be even more exciting for me.
Oh, great. So I view the booster steam car like Marty in that film. Marty is a guy who shows up, knows everyone's name, knows like details about everyone, but no one knows that guy's name. No one knows who he is.
So kind
So
of a fly
he'll-
on the wall.
Yes, and I look at him and I hear booster steam car. I'm like, what if he is a fireless engine?
Oh, oh.
So
I was
so tying in kind of what you're saying, that Croven's Gate is kind of trying to innovate. They build their own fireless steam engine.
okay. It honestly kind of looks like that, doesn't it? It's got this like.
Yeah.
It's got that weird self-contained shape to it where there's no smoke box door on the front. There's no like, it's all like very bubbly and just kind of not like, there's not enough intricacy. Like you look at a fireless engine and those things are just so smooth and have way too few parts because the whole thing's basically a big tank. That's actually kind of awesome. Okay.
So this is a fireless steam engine that is built by Croven's Gate. I like the idea that it has the task of bringing all of the water to the water towers on the island.
Okay. I like that.
So he goes around with this tanker car. I'm picturing in my head like the Learning Curve wooden railway, the blue one with the water written on it.
Oh yeah. So they go together.
Yeah, they go together, and he just kind of makes his way around the island. He's filling up the water towers. He does it, I don't know, like in the dead of night. And
you know that guy in Cars 3 who's got like a crush on Miss Fritter? Like the tanker truck, you know, that's kind of peering around.
yes,
You know, he kind of talks
yes.
like this. Like maybe maybe the big engines kind of refer to this guy as like the water boy. It's like, where the bloody hell is the water boy? We've been waiting for him for hours. I don't know. Why do you think I know?
Well, I don't know, Henry. Maybe because you guzzle all the water?
Yes. Since the whole tender incident, he's been very finicky about what kind of water he gets, the pH.
I thought we all came to the conclusion that it was better not to talk about the tender incident because it's tender.
That's very funny,
Well,
Henry. Here's a medal.
I just came to the conclusion because it's funny.
Oh, God. So sorry I'm late, guys. I didn't mean to. There you are. God, it's been ages. We've been sitting here with empty tenders. I've been boiling dry. Gordon, you haven't dampened your fire? No. I can't afford to wait.
Jesus, I'm getting clear.
I like to live on the edge. Well, here, let me just fill up the water tower, guys, and I'll be on my way.
You fill up my tender first. Gordon, are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. I'm deadly serious. I'm due out with the express in 5 minutes. Now, water boy, you fill my tender directly. Get that tube of yours and give me a drink.
All right, it's time to give you a boost. Here you go.
His bloody catchphrase, he says it every 5 seconds. I think it's rather charming. You think everything's charming. Ugh, there's something wrong with this water. It's furry. It's furring up my... Oh, God, no. Stop.
What's wrong?
Do you even test this water before you try it?
Well, you didn't exactly give me time to do that, Gordon.
Well, I assume you would have tested it beforehand. I mean, come on now. Do you really have that much work to do?
Well, I've got the whole rest of the main line to fill up with water, so you tell me, Gordon.
You're not telling me that you filled up the water towers and all of those insignificant places before you came here? This should have been your first stop. I mean, goodness me.
This is my first stop. I gotta go all the way to Vickerstown, man.
So you're just that slow. Perhaps you should be stationed here. Goodness me. You know what's kind of interesting about this guy is that he's a fireless engine, and like the biggest lake on the island, the biggest lakes are up north, and one of them powers the hydroelectric plant at Pilgodred. So it's kind of interesting. He'd spend a lot of time up there. So it kind of makes sense he's fireless. Like maybe in order to get to like the station where they fill the water tankers, and I'm picturing this big complex with a bunch of those blue tankers with water written on the side.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting, right? Is if this guy has to go through the aluminum works, you know, every day to go and get the water. And so it's like, like I imagine like there was some point early on in the railway's history where they sent somebody else to do that job, like James, you know? And the thing you got to know about aluminum plants is that there's like, they are extremely flammable. Like you have to be very, very careful in an aluminum plant. I've seen videos where it levels the place. It is horrifying when an aluminum plant catches fire.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, imagine that there's like a drought and everybody's like really thirsty. And this is like the 20s, right? And so it's early on. We don't even have Toby on the railway yet, you know? And in the booster, steam car is not even a thought in anybody's head. And then you got James, who's like, all right, enough of this. You're all so thirsty. I'm going to go and solve it once and for all. There's a big old lake or something up north, isn't there? I'll get water from there. And, you know, Gordon and Henry cheer him on, like, for once, you're actually doing something of note. I'm always doing something of note. And as he leaves, he's like, there's something wrong, James. Just my brakes. There they go. They're off. No, don't look at me. and he leaves. He grabs a whole bunch of tankers, right? Edward watches him go. Isn't it a little alarming that his brakes are sparking like that? No, I'm sure it's no problem. I mean, James's wooden blocks are always having issues, aren't they? Well, yes, but I mean, should he really be going up north with those sort of...
Edward, I'm thirsty. We're all thirsty. All the feed pipes are clogged. James, for once, is doing something productive. I say we encourage it.
Yes, but for some reason, I just think maybe it's not a good idea. Oh my god. The aluminum plant is up there.
Yes, so?
So? And we cut to James, who's like, excitedly kind of like petering along the electric line, which at this point is like brand new, right? So he's hurrying up that route.
He's belching smoke.
Yeah, no, he's shooting sparks and steam, and he's just like being, overall very dirty.
I don't have a care in the world. I'm on fire.
We get like a dark musical cue, like dun dun, as he approaches like.
And then there was trouble.
And he's passing like electric engines on the way up, and they're like, James, you have to stop, and they're like they're waving because I'm such a splendid engine. They're not waving, they're telling him to stop, but he's just even more dense than Thomas, so he just doesn't notice. He just hears attention. He doesn't actually really pay attention to what they're telling him. And then he's going towards the aluminum works, and he's like, on the other side of that works is a great big source of water for all of my friends. Then I'll be praised by everyone. Oh my god, this might be the greatest day of my life. They might even stop saying I smell like cow dung. And his driver's like, well, you do kind of still smell like cow dung, James. I do not! Okay, I've been washed countless times.
He shoots off extra smoke and sparks.
And he enters the aluminum works, and all, like alarm bells go off. Immediately the foreman's like, we have to get everyone out of here! and he's like, well, I mean, I do make an entrance, but this is a bit much, don't you think? He shoots off one spark. They manage to get everybody out in time, just barely, because they're all prepared for a crisis, because they're well drilled. And the whole place just goes up. It lights on fire. Then you've got the whole building is leveled. Smokestacks start coming down. James is like, oh my god! And he starts backing up out of the plant.
Oh my gosh.
So, the Fat Controller comes to the scene of the devastation. And the Fat Director, I guess, that early on, is like,
let me get this straight. You didn't see that warning sign there, saying no sparks within the building?
No, sir.
You didn't see all the...
I can't read.
I beg your pardon?
I can't read.
You can't read.
It's just a little quirk of mine, but I never learned how to read.
I wouldn't call that a quirk, James. I would call that a serious issue. Are you telling me? Oh my god, this is why you overran that platform. You don't know what any of the stations are, do you?
Some people would say it's charming.
Oh, the railway I am running, I swear to... All right. 2 orders of business. First off, you're learning to read. Your driver and fireman will be drilling you.
Fine.
Sir, we... You what? We also... No, don't tell him. Oh my god. How little of my workforce knows how to read?
Like 800 hands shoot up.
Oh my god. Literally everyone who works at the plant, he's like,
well, okay. So, I apparently need to start some sort of program. But also, James, for the love of God, you know what stop, no, you're making sparks and going to kill us all means. I did tell him that exactly, says one of the foremen. He's like, I told him those exact words.
Look, I was just excited to help, sir, in my defense.
Well, you didn't help, James. You have leveled one of the island's greatest industries. This cannot happen again. We need an engine who can be relied upon beyond their smoke and steam. I will talk to the people at Croven's Gate right away.
And so out of the rubble, quite literally, comes this invention.
I like that. So it's like this whole disaster just causes immense amounts of research into this new fireless engine, right? And then he rolls out of the works. I even kind of like the idea of like him being named Booster.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
And so like his task is now to just take water down from north of the aluminum plant to the rest of the island stations.
Yeah.
Like all the other engines are banned.
How does everybody react to this guy? Because obviously the big engines, like, they don't really appreciate him. They kind of look down on him, which is, fairly predictable from them.
I think what happens is they kind of forget he exists because everything starts going back to normal on the island. No more aluminum works explode. And also just kind of in general, when you get to the Peel Godred end of things, most of those engines are, well, they lack documentation.
Right.
The engines don't really know them that well. And so they just kind of fade into the background. And so it gets to this point where, the booster knows everyone else's names, but they all just kind of forgot who he was. So he'll like come to Farquhar to fill up the water tower, and he's like, "Oh, hey Thomas, how's it going?" And the engines don't want to be rude.
Right.
They say, "I'm sorry, what's your name?
Thomas
Who are you?"
is like, "Oh, hey, you, how's it going? Hey, Toby, isn't he really cool? What is his name? Toby, what is his name?"
Well, don't ask me. I don't know.
And he says it out loud. Booster's like, "Oh, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's not like I'm, one of the famous engines or anything. I mean, I'm just Booster. Booster, that's right. I did know that. It was buried in the recesses of my mind. But yeah, Booster, how you doing? You haven't been here in what, months?" "I'm here every day." "Oh, hey, I've got a train to take," and he like darts off, and Annie and Clarabelle are like, "Woo!" like he flies down the line, like just hauls ass out of there, forgets half of his passengers, and Toby's like,
Well, I guess I'm taking off the train again. Sorry, Henrietta. For what it's worth, Booster, you don't necessarily want to be in the limelight,
"Really, Toby? I mean, you're one of the famous ones."
Yeah, well, people keep saying that about me, and I keep not wanting to be. I mean, I really don't like all the attention. The most famous moment of my life was probably when all those people were taking pictures as my railway closed down. I can't say that was pleasant. And then, of course, there's when we went to London, and that was...
"Oh, that must have been fantastic."
I think it was a lot of fuss about nothing, personally. Take my advice. Enjoy the fact that you're a wallflower. I wish I could be.
And he leaves, and Booster has a bit to think about.
Yeah. And then I could see then Booster's like trying to link down the line. He's like chatting with his water tankers. He's like, am I really not supposed to make a splash here in the world? Is this just, I'm just a water boy. I'm just the one who just gives people a boost and that's it.
What are you talking about, Booster? You've always got to make a splash. Come on.
Yeah, that's the whole point of everything.
Well, I mean, of course I'm important. I feel important, but
Who cares if you're important? You got to be noticed. You got to get out there, and you got to make sure that people see you.
Yeah, that's why we got these colors. I mean, how do people ignore a guy with your color palette? Blue and red, and you're all bright and vibrant, and it's kind of weird they even picked them.
Wait. Make a splash.
Yeah, that's what we've been telling you.
I've got it. I know just what to do. I'm gonna make the greatest steam engine water in the world. And then everyone will know my name, Booster, the steam-producing car.
That's a great idea. That can't go wrong at all.
Yeah, he doesn't have any scientific knowledge or anything, but hell, I mean, he's got the passion. You can do it, Booster. And so he kind of engages in this madcap experiment.
You know, I like the idea even of him just traveling the island to find the best source of water.
Yeah,
for the
he's like sampling all of it, and like really like taking a good look at everything. He goes and interviews people, like, because maybe that there are a lot of sources for the water. I mean, the most major one by far is the one up at Peel Godred, which is why he needs to be fireless. But there's other places too. There's other rivers. There's other kind of locations, and so he'll go and like. He'll talk to like Duck, and he'll be like, oh, what do you like about the water on your branch line? Please give me your critique. And Duck's like, oh, well, I've never really thought about it. I suppose. And he like, he's got it in his tanks, right? So what if he like swishes it around and kind of like almost like samples it, and he's like, I suppose it's got a bit of that natural tang, and it's got a little bit of that sparkling flavor to it. Okay, continue. And I suppose there's a bit of rust flakes in it. That sounds unpleasant. Yes, it's very unpleasant. I don't appreciate you making me think about this, really, Booster. Wait, you know my name? Why wouldn't I know your name?
Booster starts getting a tear in his eye.
Why? What are you crying for, Booster?
I just do that sometimes because I work with so much water. Sometimes it comes out of my eyes.
I think that's because you're. And Douglas rolls up. I think that's because you're really moved emotionally, Booster. I don't think that.
Do you think we should try firing up my tears?
I don't think that there's a high enough volume of them to make it a viable enterprise.
I better start crying more then.
Doug, I don't think that's the best way to approach this problem. Maybe we should make him feel better. Oh, you think that would be better? Booster, you are deeply appreciated. Why are you trying to find the best water anyway?
Because I just love you guys so much. All of you.
Oh,
even though half of you don't know my name. Maybe you will if I give you the best water ever.
Well, that's very, it's sweet is what it is, Booster. And, we all...
Well, the water shouldn't be sweet. It should be more of like a flavorless.
No, I actually like the sweet water. At Ballyhoo, they got some of the sweet stuff. Why is the water over there sweet? That doesn't make any sense. Well, I like it. Makes me loopy.
I know. It's because that's where Mr. Jolly's chocolate factory has all of its runoff. I know that the government doesn't really know about it, but that's what makes it sweet.
Oh my God. Well, that's rather serious, actually. Somebody should look into that.
No, never mind. We don't have enough time for that. I'm off to Ballyhoo to test the water.
Duck, I swear to God, if you tell anyone about the sweet water, I won't talk to you for a month. All right, I guess we'll just allow that pollution to happen. That's right. And by God, don't tell Henry, or he'll shut the whole thing down. He loves nature or whatever. But, anyway, so I love how Booster just has all this information. Like, he just knows where all the pollution is, where everybody's, like, dumping shit into the ocean.
Yeah, it's like you said, he's a wallflower. He just, like, picks up on everything going on throughout the island. And, like, he just has this eureka moment. He finds out the best water on Sodor. Maybe that's also why the engines have so much, like, longevity on Sodor.
Oh my God.
Not just because of like the really great mechanics, but because just chemically he's found a way to make the best water that reacts with the coal.
There's something in the water.
Literally something in the water. And so he collectively gives the island an entire boost.
Which is his dream, of course.
Yeah. And
where else would he
go?
What? Where else is like a good place to check the water? Like, what about like the waterfall Toby almost went over? He's on like, there's like I always kind of assumed that waterfall Toby goes over. You know that set where Thomas, like, it's like, if you were to see Thomas the Tank Engine running on his branch line, and it's like him, Annie, and Clarabelle passing that waterfall with that bridge.
Yes, yes.
Like, I always thought those two were connected. And it's like, imagine like Booster's like, he's checked every place on the island, and he almost has all the data he needs. But there's this one waterfall that he's told is just scrumptious. and he's like really close to it. Because he's on that bridge on Thomas's branch, and he's looking at the waterfall coming down, and he's like, if I could just get a sample. And he's like, he's got like maybe like a tubing system that folds out, so he like unfolds it 3 or 4 times, and so then it's kind of this tube hanging out, and he just can't quite reach it. And he's like, I can't quite. And he actually like comes off the tracks, and he's like, now one of his bogies is off, and he's hanging off this bridge, and he's like, oh my god, and he's in peril.
Water's like splashing all over the rails. He's like slipping on the tracks.
Yeah, he's just such a slippery guy. Like that's just inherent to his being. And the tankers behind him are screaming like, "Oh my God! We didn't think we'd go down like this. Killed by what we love." and so he's calling out for help. He's like, "Somebody, please!" And And then from Farquhar, Thomas hears something. He's like, do you hear that? Somebody's shouting for help. And it doesn't sound like Percy, for once. And Toby's like,
I think that might be
Booster. And so they race out there, right? And they see him on the bridge, and he's like struggling for control. And he's like, don't worry, we'll help you. So they get out there, and they like throw chains on him. And he's like sliding all over the place. And Thomas is like, stop slipping. Come on, please. You're making this really difficult. He's like, whoa, whoa. Like he's about to die, but he just looks so goofy.
Yeah.
He's just like, whoa. And so finally Thomas manages to get him back on the tracks. And Booster's just like,
You guys, you saved me.
Of course we saved you, Booster.
You remembered my name?
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually made an effort this time. I mean, you're right. We don't appreciate you. And,
We're sorry.
well, thanks, guys. That means a lot. I just...
The tankers are like, oh, here we go. He's crying again.
Yeah. You really do cry a lot, don't you? I mean, that's fine, but I just, it's a lot.
It's just such a wonderful island, and I just want to do what's best for you guys because I'll always have enough energy, and because I'm fireless, and my boiler will almost never explode, almost, right? And so you guys, you go out there into the world with so many risks, and I just want everyone to be happy.
Oh, God, look at this guy bragging about never having had a boiler explosion.
Most of us haven't, Thomas.
Oh, okay, you too.
Look, it's deeply appreciated. I know we don't always show it, but, no one can do what you do. And, well, we appreciate it, Booster. Really, we do. But what the hell were you playing at? How did you even have an accident here? You were about to fly off the rails.
This is the finest water on the island from this waterfall. I know it. I almost had it in my tankers, but I slipped. But I promise if we bring this water back to the waterworks, then we can make the best water ever.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Toby, didn't you have some sort of mishap on this waterfall?
I wouldn't call it a mishap. I would call it a near-death experience I'm still getting over, Thomas. But yes, and in fact, there's a line up there that's much closer to the waterfall. It's abandoned now because of my mishap. I can take you up there. You'll be able to suck up all the water you need.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go! I'll give you a boost.
Well, we're waiting for a mechanic to have a look at you. You almost fell to your death.
Oh, come on, he's fine. Come on, let's get up there.
All right, I guess we'll just ignore railway protocol. I don't care enough to stop you.
And so they go up there.
We'll get to the top of the mountain through the power of friendship.
And so they get up there. And he's just so corny. He's such a gooey guy.
He's so corny. Like I picture him to be like really like such a softie.
Yeah. He's very endearing, actually.
He works for the waterworks, He's got to bring the waterworks everywhere he goes.
That's true. That's like, if his catchphrase is like, let's give you a boost, then his tankers are definitely, here comes the waterworks.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. That's awesome.
And so once they've gotten the water, they're on the way to the waterworks, and the tankers are like, here comes the waterworks. And he's like, well, I'm not crying. Oh, no, wait, you're right. It's right up there. And so they get over there. And they've got the top scientists there to analyze the water. And this guy, he's got these like really thick spectacles, and he's like, my God, this is the best water I've ever seen. That's right. I looked everywhere for it. We've got to get this into the lab. And so they do some serious tests. And they just like, they're like having it bubble through beakers and stuff. And it's like they're superheating it and they're like trying to refine it. And then they create this water that is utterly delectable. And so then the next, after a few weeks of serious scientific testing, Booster comes to Tidmouth, and Gordon is dismissive of him once again. And he's like,
oh, there he is, Booster, with the furry water.
well, I think you should try it first, Gordon. And he pumps it right into his tender.
Yes, well, I don't think it'll be... Oh my God. This is the most.
Gordon, is it that bad?
It's utterly delectable. Henry, you've got to try this.
I've got such a boost.
He like shoots off into the station and like nearly crashes into the platform.
Maybe
This is
on his
going to
next
take some getting used to.
he hits like 100 miles an hour on his next express run.
Yeah, he breaks a record thanks to Booster, and he has like a big like there's a big celebration for Gordon like breaking another record, and the Fat Controller's like,
Gordon, is there anyone you want to thank for your victory?
and Gordon's like,
Actually, there is.
and he gestures for Booster to come up there with him.
What, really? Me? That's right, Booster. I hate to admit that I didn't do it alone, but I couldn't have done it without the Booster steam car.
And everyone cheers and applauds, and Booster cries, as he often does.
My God, man, get a grip. Are you all right?
I'm just so happy.
And he's
This is a
finally
wonderful island.
and he's finally appreciated by everyone at long last.
And then Mattel makes a toy of him, and no one knows who the heck he is.
That's right. He's actually really endearing. I love those like kind of background characters. He's like it's a bit like the ballast spreader, or like, I don't know, Rocky's a little bit more high profile, but kind of like
To
Rocky.
be fair, I don't think Mattel ever wanted this guy to be a character. We just dragged him into characterhood, kicking and screaming. So,
Yeah.
but I
No,
loved it. Like
honestly.
I'm looking at the wooden railway model, and I'm just picturing like this really big, like bulbous nose.
Yeah. He's almost like a blobfish.
Oh, well, that's the sad version. I was gonna say like embarrassment. You've seen Inside Out too?
Yeah, no, I have.
Yeah, like that guy with that like kind of nose, that kind of face.
Yeah, no, totally. I can totally see that. That's great. Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yet
I
another.
never thought we'd do a character gallery on this guy before we did one on Thomas.
Well, yeah.
It's kind of this show's DNA. It's to get gradually more and more obscure.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, folks. We really appreciate it. Yeah, we're back.
We're back with a boost.
Yeah. Yes, with a boost. We are.
Thank you, Booster. You're welcome.
Wow, you can just make him happen on command like that? God damn.
Yeah, he's been a guest this whole time. You haven't seen him? He's right there in the recording booth.
Oh, I thought that was you doing the voice. Oh my
I
God.
just came here to bring you guys your drinks.
Thanks, Booster. We really appreciate it.
You're
is
welcome.
Is this like, can a human drink this? It kind of seems like
I don't know.
it's like industrial grade water. All right.
Just sign these waivers first.
Cool. I didn't know you were a legal professional. Anyway, thanks, folks. And we'll see you in the next one. Well,
All right, you guys
yep.
have a great one. Character Gallery is back.
Yes, it is, with a boost. All right. See you guys.
All right, see you guys.